Thanks again, Susan. And then next we have Pendleton County Farmers Market. We have Lindy Huffman, Ag Extension Agent, and the Market Manager as well. All right, thank you. Give it up for her.
Well, I got up this morning and my husband looked at me and he's like, well, are you driving your magic school bus down there today? And I said, you know what, I'll take that as a compliment, because if you grew up in the 90s, you had kids that grew up in the 90s, Miss Frizzle is my fashion icon, right? Because she took kids literally down the digestive tract and like really dressed for the experience, so hence you get Lindy County Agent in her full glory today. I have been County Extension Agent in Pendleton County for 10 years, and I have worked with our farmers market for 10 years. So I kind of operate as a market manager as well. Miss Sharon has known me. I want to be Miss Sharon when I grow up one day. That's my goal. But over 10 years, we have had quite the journey. And at our market, we always say we are more than corn and tomatoes, because we're in a small town. Our population is 14,000 and everybody has a garden at home. Why would they come to the farmer's market when they can grow their own tomatoes? How do you separate yourself from that? And that's why we came up with our tagline of more than corn and tomatoes. And that's what I want to challenge you today and think about. Tell you a little bit of our story and how we got there, but also some of those principles that you can use for evaluating your market. Can we go full screen? Yep. So, like I said, my name is Lindy Huffman. Market helped me develop my personality and my persona. I'm also known as Lindy County Agent. It's kind of my hashtag that I use in marketing, because at your market, you need to find the person who has the personality, like a Miss Miller, all right? That person who's gonna be your front runner, the person who's gonna be your courtesy core, the person who's gonna go do stupid things and make other people feel comfortable doing stupid things, just so that you can make sure that they feel comfortable at the market. And that's kind of what I've been able to do. So we did Facebook Live, which was our PCFM market preview. And we do those every time at market. And that kind of really started to get Lindy County Agent into development, because I'd like wake up and I'd say, howdy folks, it's Lindy County Agent coming to you live from the Pendleton County Farmers Market today. I'm here to give you a sneak peek of all the sights and tastes and the smells and all the people that you can come down here and meet. And if you're not here, you're missing out. Creating fear of missing out, right? That's what we want. I cannot tell you how many people you look and you don't get a whole lot of like hits on your Facebook Live video, you don't get a whole lot of interaction, but I get on average 7 people who walk up to me and said, I saw you this morning. You're the reason I'm here, because the kids got me out of bed this morning because they said you've got maple syrup at market today, right? That's why you do it, people. Having the personality, showing your faces, showing your unique personalities as the vendor is key to success. Because like I said, why are people coming to your farmer's market when they can raise tomatoes at home? What makes your tomatoes special? Well, it's you. They want to know you, and that's what you've got to figure out. And that's what I love about our market family. I had to be different and try something different, but here we go. So, farmers markets are my jam. I don't know if you can tell, and yes, the pun was intended, just so you know. But I love farmers market. It's really, again, helped me to develop my personality. And when we talk about farmers market in that 10-year journey, this is how it started, and this is how it's going. All right? So we started technically the year before when I first became county agent, and I only got the phone call from the market president at the time, and I'd never met them, and they're like, we're losing our site. Help us. I'm like, I've never even met you before. Please come in and let's chat. The next year we had 7 vendors. In 2013, we were still on this site. We were a tent market. We were right along Highway 27. If you've ever heard of Falmouth, Falmouth and flood are normally used in the same sentence. 1997 was our claim to fame, and it definitely changed us. But 27 is our lifeline. We have no Walmart, we have no interstate, we have 1.5 grocery stores in the entire county and 2 stoplights. So we've really got to think differently and be a vital part of the community. When we were here, they said, we want a permanent facility. I was like, why? Why? Why do you need a building? It's not if you build it, they will come. It's not the field of dreams. What are you doing for your own community? So that was my challenge to them. And we worked to get there in about 10 years. This was 2020. We moved to the permanent home of the farmer's market, which was also the beginning home of the farmer's market, which was our county fairgrounds. County fairgrounds, Fair Board took over the property from the school. That was our key to the kingdom because it's right along 27, and that gave us the opportunity to build a building. This building was 89% grant funded, and I have had 3 years of no sleep and really long nights. But it is beautiful and wonderful, and we love it, and we've already almost outgrown it. We're at 36 vendors now.
Wow.
So we've come a long way. And again, population 14,000. Okay? So we're doing big things. So my challenge to you is when you think about just what I challenged my market family, and yes, we are a market family. These people call me before I even know that something's wrong with myself. They really do. And they come out. We did flood relief for Eastern Kentucky. We did a bucket brigade. We collected over $17,000 worth of materials in 3 days and took down in 5-gallon buckets to deliver. And I said, hey guys, I just need you to promote and spread the word. They said, when are we leaving? They drove to Eastern Kentucky with me in a thunderstorm 7 days after a flood and camped outside of the extension office. This is what you talk about when you get community involved, because that's what drives them. There's this thing called the 7 Capitals Framework. I have a much longer presentation, but I'm just kind of condensing some principles for you today, but if you're interested, I can also take the show on the road. I love traveling. But the 7 capitals, when we think about farmers market and our slogan of farmers market more than corn and tomatoes, every person in this room knows that. You're running businesses, you're running livelihoods, you're supporting families through nutrition programs and making sure people have access to food. You're making sure senior citizens have a place to go and be active. These are all valuable and vital things that we have to continue to champion. It's not just a place to exchange goods. If that's all it was, it wouldn't succeed, because there's Walmart and Meijer and every other store for that. It's about community and capacity within people. So there is built capital, which would be a structure, a permanent place. Financial capital, we're supporting how many small businesses? You've got political capital because it was election year, right? But political capital is talking about those policy changes and those systems and environments that a farmer's market can change and affect. So food access and nutrition. Social capital, well, obviously everybody wants to come see Lindy County Agent at the farmer's market, and to be honest, that is very true. I used to run a few programs myself and do all of this, but I can no longer do that because there is a line of people just waiting to tell me that they saw me on Facebook that morning and they wanted to buy some maple syrup. So now I have people for that, right? All volunteers, mind you. So they all drink the Kool-Aid too. But then they've got human capital. So then that's talking about that place and space for people to belong and have those human interests. Cultural capital, food is integral to our memories, to our families, to our structure, and there's no better place to do that than with food that is laid out before you in its most natural state. It's not our fault that most of us don't know what to do with it in that form anymore, and that's where the education comes in. And then the natural capital, how are you affecting that natural environment? So the 7 capital frameworks put you into categories. So let's start breaking down some different events. So I use that as a way to put into words, because remember, I'm not your typical market manager. I'm not really a vendor. I'm kind of this weird person who floats in between and gets to do all the fun things. But behind the scenes, there's always motives, right? There's always documentation. There's always, how can we make this better? How can we have greater impact? And that's what I do. Take our Sprouts Kids Club. Nothing new. Some of you might have pop clubs, some of you have kids clubs, some of you call it different things. We call it Sprouts. And it's a make, taste, learn, grow, and shop experience. We started at the extension office as a way to do outreach for youth. We funded $2 tokens, two $1 tokens through our office of the extension office, but now our local farm bureau is paying the kids $5. They get to come talk to me, or now our FFA kids who I have roped into getting leadership experience through teaching, education, and getting those social skills. They're teaching that and paying it forward. So now FFA has that community branch and that outreach into the community. So we've got the social, we've got the cultural, we have the financial, because now we're giving kids buying power that when they go to the farmer's market, regardless of their parents' financial status, those kids get those tokens, right? And those kids get to go decide what fruits and vegetables that they want to go purchase themselves. And that is why I do this, y'all. my personal mission statement, which I have developed over the last 2 years, is to keep farmers farming and to keep families fed. After going through the Kentucky Ag Leadership Program, that is what I figured out is the core to me and what makes me me. And how can we do that? And we can do that by things like building capacity within our kids so that Keegan, Sharon knows Keegan. Keegan is my farmer's market buddy. He's my little mascot, and that's what I call this kid. He's the kid that gets toted to the farmer's market every Saturday with his mom and dad, right? For some, that would be a miserable way to do it. He is our bell ringer. Our market does not open until 9. We do not allow sales before 9 a.m., even though they're lined up, because Keegan rings the bell. So we got a cowbell and he runs through and I go, Keegan, what time is it? It's opening time. And the kid runs through the farmer's market with a cowbell, right? Everybody looks forward to seeing his pure joy and excitement because he gets to ring the cowbell. That kid is gonna remember spending Saturdays at the farmer's market with his parents, with his community, and with his people. And that's what I want for every child who walks through that farmer's market, because that is the future, my friend, of healthy eaters. That is the future of how we're gonna sustain family farms and keep farmers farming. Because our traditional markets, listen, they have their place. We got a lot of people to feed in the world, but most of our farmers would technically most likely qualify for SNAP assistance programs, which is sad, right? That is sad. So we've got to find ways to make the farm gate not end at the farm gate and create more value through things like value added products. So you see the pure joy. These kids, they run up, like if I see a baby, like they actually had a farmer's market onesie underneath there that they bought just so that they could come to the market and show, right? Find your passion and create your excitement. Sometimes on Facebook Live, I'll say the first person who finds me at farmer's market and gives me the magic word, whatever I come up with for the day and off the top of my head, will get $10 to spend at the farmer's market. This little girl right here, no one had come up to me for the entire day and her mom's like, that's okay, you can go talk to her. She's like, don't you have something to tell her? She knew the magic word because she watched my video that day, which was pretty cool. We can go to the next one. So again, we're building capacity in the future. When we talk about market events, you can create micro events. Y'all, we do this on barely budgets. We do it with all volunteer people, no paid people. Yes, I am paid by the county, but I work 6 or 7 days a week, so in the end, it doesn't really work out. I do this because I love it. Hence why I'm here today, right?
And you can tell me no.
Yes, and I can tell you no, right? But you think about all these different events. So we've got the Sprouts Farmers Market, which is the second Saturdays of the month. Third Saturdays of the month are super sampling Saturdays, where we have the extension office come and do nutrition lessons. And we've got every farmers market member is certified with their sampling certificate, so then they all sample. So we have super sampling Saturdays, and we make a day of it. On the other days, we come up with things like our craftsmanship showcase, where we invite specifically crafters to come to the market. This year, my favorite, we had Market at Market, which is my favorite thing that I developed this year. But this is my little blind dog Goose, who came to market with me that day, and he got the best lookalike because he dressed like Lindy County agent. So he won an award too, it was fine. But that's in front of our new building, which has just created so much excitement around it. So how do you keep it? Again, it's not the field of dreams. You don't just build it and they magically come. You've got to give them reason and purpose. So these micro events, a very farmer's market Christmas. We did this for the second time in 2022. In 2021, it was our first time. We did not have a roof, we did not have bathrooms, we did not have electric at the building, but we wanted a cold opening of the farmer's market building because they could see it, but they couldn't use it. So we did a cold opening and we did a candy cane breaking instead of a ribbon cutting because Miss Sharon came to our ribbon cutting on Derby Day of this year, which was lots of fun. So we had derby hats. But you just kind of create these events. You have paint night at the farmer's market. You have story walk at the farmer's market where kids come and you work with a lot of different organizations, put up a storybook, let them walk. They get tokens from us. They go and shop, right? This was our candy cane breaking here, so I made everybody line up in front of the building before market opened. That way we could have pictures. Y'all, pictures speak volumes, and I'm telling you, just taking a picture of this room right now is boring, right? Yes, a bunch of people showed up. Congratulations. But what you want to see are the conversations that happen behind the scenes. So I can also teach you photography classes. Just simple with an iPhone. I've got my big fancy camera, but I don't have time to edit pictures. I'm a busy person, So sometimes they'll see me at market and I'll just kind of go off on my phone, and I've got blockers who will come and they like keep the line from building up. That way I can get the Facebook post out, right? Because it takes that to get it done. We do our farmer's feast, which if you go to the next slide, oh yeah, we dress like bees sometimes. This is my FCS agent and I'm also the bee lady, and she saw those on Amazon. She goes, Lindy, I think this has to be a work expense because I know you'll get use out of it. So we dress up like bees, but that's how wonderful our office is too. Farmer's Feast is our annual fundraising event. To be truthful, it doesn't make a whole lot of money. It takes a whole lot of time, but you know what it does? It builds political and social and cultural framework to get support for your farmer's market. So we do it on a different farm every year. It has to be on a farm. We are not doing it in the city because this is farm appreciation and farm awareness. So we pride ourselves on topping it up and tearing it down within the same night. It's wonderful. This year here, this was in a tobacco barn. By the next day, it was 3/4 of the way filled with tobacco. We left it cleaner than we left it, and that is one of my favorite transition pictures. We show it empty, we show it with 175 of my closest friends, and then we show it the next day and it's 3/4 of the way filled with tobacco. That is what we do, because we pop up, tear down, food safety is followed, but this is a way to garner. We keep it limited to draw demand. We do not sell the tickets for nearly enough, but it is a great way to have that engagement and take the experience. We also don't tell people the location until the very last minute because we want to keep that excitement. When we were in the barn, we had the front area blocked off and we had the hors d'oeuvres, and you could hear everybody's remarks. Oh, it was so much better when it was outside. I can't believe we're under roof this year. Well, as they sit down, I have all of our ambassadors staged around the building, and I make my little welcome spiel and all the things. I'm never short for words, unfortunately. But then I said, and now we'd love to welcome you to the Gosney's farm. And they opened up all the doors. It's a tobacco barn. They opened up all the doors, and it was a 360 view on a hilltop, so you could see all the way down to Falmouth. Standing ovation, y'all. Standing ovation. Take the ordinary and turn it into extraordinary. That is the key, right? Take these boring events. Yes, you gotta go drag everything out, but you better be excited to be there because everybody else needs to be excited to be there too, because that's why they spend money. Next slide. We also do the Farm to Fork grant, which has been super helpful to get us to do that, because the first year we did it all through donations, but I demand that I pay my farmers for their product because you all are small businesses and I do not want your handouts. I do not ask for your handouts because you have very small profit margins, right? You have an economy of scale, and I want to make sure that if I can find funding, I can support that. So I don't ask for freebies and handouts. That is my own personal rule to go with my mission statement. When we talk about the Farmer's Feast, it's the same picture. We have the natural capital. Remember those capitals we talked about? Because we're in nature, we're on the farm, so they get to experience that. We have financial because it's a fundraising event. We've got cultural capital and social because people are coming. So you can see that one event can hit multiple of those capitals. So why do the capitals matter? Because when you talk to your constituents and you go talk to the radio or you go talk to the fiscal court and you have an ask, you better know the reason why. So if you're gonna go talk to fiscal court and it's election year, you go, look at all these small businesses, look at all these taxpayers, look at the community event, look how we're creating space and place for kids to be engaged with nutrition and senior citizens to have social events and all these things. Know who your audience is. When you talk to the health department, talk about the health, talk about the low income or limited resource, and that's how you can change your narrative. That's also how you can write big grants to get things from like the USDA, but they will give you nightmares, just so you know. They're great to work with, but they will give you nightmares because I don't like dealing with money, but I did it for this. Next slide. This is our beautiful building. You can kind of see our progression into this. I don't actually have the one with the wording on it, which I made Farmers Market go from here to there, and they're like, oh, Lindy, that's too big. I go, you can see us from 27. And they're like, well, why is Pendleton County so small? I said, well, because you can still read it when you're close and everybody knows you're in Pendleton County, but Farmers Market is the collective. That's what we need to see. And they're like, well, why even put Pendleton County on there at all? They know they're there. I said, in case anybody wants to start competition and start another market, right? We want to be known as the Pendleton County Farmers Market or the PCFM. You can follow either of those hashtags. But that has been 10 years of work. And it took us building capacity within our vendors to be year-long, producers and growers, expanding that, but also building capacity within our community. Because on the county comprehensive plan, they kept saying, we need a farmer's market, we need a farmer's market, we need a farmer's market. I go, well, I don't know if you want a building for the farmer's market, or you think we just don't have one at all. We gave it to them both ways, right? And that's where marketing comes into play. So we do a fitness for produce as well through a partnership with our extension office. So basically every year we change it. It could be bingo. It might be you come do Zumba and you get points. You might go hiking at the state park. You might go take a historic walk through downtown in partnership with the library, and you document your points and walk so many miles, and you earn tokens to spend at farmer's market. And we capped it at, they could earn $68 at farmer's market last year just by supporting extension-based programs. So whether that was 4-H, FCS, or ag, we did that as a community outreach for that. And when we think about how much more are farmers markets, everybody here knows they're more than corn and tomatoes. You sit through hours and hours of training. You need to tell your people that. When you sit through meetings like this and you meet a new friend of somebody who's got passion, you shine the light on them. And that's something that I love doing about my market and my market family, because if I said, Sharon, will you write me a biography so that I can introduce you to the group? Well, she's never short words either, so I don't have to worry about that. But some of you might not be able to recognize how special you are and what makes you unique. So I love to write little blurbs and biographies from the relationships that I've built with people, because I want to shine the light on them, and I want to take a really good photo of them in their spot, not just like, hey, smile, but like, get all the right angles, because that story tells words as well. So when you go home, remember that farmers markets are an integral component to the local food system, that they are a reimagined community, a stimulated local economy, the next generation of good eaters, economically viable for market farmers, a hub for artisans and musicians, a place and space for community celebration, and at the end of it, the heart for community health. So there's a lot more slides there, but that's the condensed version. So, but thank you for that. I actually kept going. It's okay. So I would be happy to entertain any questions, but again, my contact information, you cannot read it. My name is Lindy, LINDIE.Huffman@uky.edu. And my cell phone number is on there as well, but again, I'm happy to talk to you, chat with you, brainstorm, or even if you want me to come talk to your group, I would be happy to do so.
Do you happen to have that slideshow presentation to hand down or anything?
I do not.
Can you email me?
So, I have a notes page. I'm also one of those people that doesn't share my presentations. I share my notes page, but I will do, I'm extra, you know this. So, but I'd be happy, I'll share that with Sharon, because you have everybody who registered for this, and then maybe we can email that out. Because it's actually a worksheet that will talk to you about the 7 capitals a little bit more, and you can fill in your own events to see, that way that when you build your narrative, that you can go and talk to your people.
Thank you. Awesome.